Hola, bienvenido a mi nueva casa en Medellin. So what's good, beautiful people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I'm back and I'm in a new country, a city called Medellin in Colombia in South America. In this video, I'll be talking to you about what I'm doing in Colombia and why I moved here. The last time you saw me, I was in a completely different country, dealing with a completely different culture. But now I am happy to say that I am no longer there. Let's jump right into the questions as to what brought me here. When I left South Korea and came back home in the United States, I was looking for work. I was looking for marketing work at home because that's my work background, but I was also still looking for work abroad because the travel bug had bitten and I just was still kind of yearning to be that traveling nomad, I guess you could say. Colombia kept coming up in different ways and different reasons. So a friend of mine had told me that she had recently been to Colombia and she loved it. She said she liked it even better than Cuba and how beautiful it was, and it told me all these cool things, and she was actually really itching to get back. She went to Cartagena and somewhere else that I don't remember, but Cartagena is a really popular coastal town that is very a hot spot with a lot of tourists. Number two, in looking at some of the ESL teacher recruiters that I know, I saw one that was particularly focusing on getting a lot of teachers in Colombia. I had to choose like my top 3 cities that I wanted to live in if I were selected for the position. And so that started me on looking into the different areas in Colombia and the different cities. And then I came across this blog about Medellin, and it just talked about how Medellin is the most perfect city in Colombia. It has the perfect weather, it has the most balanced weather. It's been really warm here almost every day since I've been here, which and by warm I mean like 80s or higher. So I can't imagine what the rest of the country is like if this is more leveled temperature. Through doing all of this, I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign. And this was actually back in the summer. So this was around somewhere between June and August that all of this came up. And ironically, the reason why I did not sign on to come to Colombia at the time was because I had missed the deadline or hiring period that started in June. And so the next teaching period, because I was applying to teach at the grade schools, so the next hiring period for that would have been in January. And again, this was summertime, so I didn't want to wait that long. I wanted something right away. And so in doing all of that, I finally, looking for work at home and looking for work abroad, I finally came across Saudi Arabia, and I was just like, why not? Let's see what happens. Yeah, no comment on that. But so anyway, long story short, I ended up coming here in January anyway. It was just the end of January instead of the beginning of January. So that's how I made it here, and that's why I chose Colombia. That and the fact that I've always wanted to travel to a Spanish-speaking country. I've been to Spain and I've been to Costa Rica, but I wanted to do some long-term traveling either in South America or Spain to not only just see the different countries, but also to learn Spanish. So that's one of my goals while I'm here as well. I got this question so many times when I was in Saudi Arabia, of all places. So I was telling some of the people that I knew there, but also my friends and family back home, just talking to them, and they wanted to know they were worried, they were concerned, and they would always say, "Oh, but isn't it dangerous there? Isn't it dangerous there?" And I said, said the same thing about Saudi Arabia, and honestly, it really is a pretty safe country. It's one of the safer countries out there, just in terms of everyday crime and things like that. So, I mean, you always have to be aware of your surroundings. But yeah, it was a pretty safe country. But people said the exact same thing about Saudi Arabia. They were worried for my safety there. Now, the fact is that, Colombia has just, it's been several years, but they're getting over the whole Pablo Escobar era of the major drug cartel. A lot of people say that he was one of the most infamous drug dealers in the world. I don't know how true that is, but that is what a lot of the literature and media around here note him as. So, to Colombians, they feel like he did a lot of damage, and obviously, I think a lot of people can agree that he did a lot of damage to the country and to Medellin specifically, because this is where he was, ironically. But then there's also this other narrative that he was like the modern day Robin Hood. But, okay, so to answer the question, the country has cleaned a lot of that up. Specifically, Medellin has worked really hard to, make their city good again, because this city actually has a lot of rich history. They've been pioneers in a lot of things in terms of Colombia, but also in terms of South America. And I can get into that in another video. But let's just keep it moving. So yes, the cities are clean. The people here are super duper friendly, and it's a lot safer. But it's still a major city, and there are still certain crimes that go down. So you really just have to be aware of your surroundings. Don't be stupid. Don't leave your things out. It's not like in Korea. I made a video about Korea, saying that in Korea you could leave your purse or bag or whatever your belongings in a cafe, go walk around the block, come back, and it'll still be there. That would not be the case here. Don't be stupid. Just be aware of your surroundings. And for those who are visiting as tourists, don't be a gullible tourist. Protect yourself. But other than that, yes, it's safe. I've been here for about several weeks now, and I haven't had any issues or felt any fear for my safety. My first impressions of Colombia or Medellin have been all good. It's been all good. The people are really nice and friendly. So I think in another one of my videos, I talked about how my living in Abha in the desert in Saudi Arabia, people from Riyadh or Jeddah, whenever I tell them where I was staying, they would always say, "Oh my gosh, it's so green there." And I'd be like, "Is it? Is it green there? I wouldn't say that." Being here in Medellin, and excuse me, I will flip-flop between Medellin and Medellin, because I'm used to calling it Medellin, but they call it Medellin here, so I'm trying to adapt to the local way. But oh my gosh, it's greenery everywhere. It almost feels like little jungle pockets in the city. Throughout the entire city. It's really beautiful here, and some of the trees are so exotic looking. They look like you would normally see them as a plant. They're like these huge trees that you see on the street. It's really nice. It's really beautiful in that way. The people are cool. I don't speak Spanish, so I haven't really engaged with the locals to a deep extent. One of the things that I noticed here are the women, ironically, and I'm speaking as a heterosexual woman, never been curious, never experimented in college, okay? But, oh my gosh, I have noticed the bums on these women, the behinds on these women, the donks on these women, okay? Most Latin American countries, you will find that the women are very, they care about being beautiful, and they care about looking sexy and things like that. So, you'll find a lot of voluptuous women or vivacious women, the way they look and they dress in Latin American countries. And they do not disappoint in Colombia, honey. In Medellin, like everybody wears super duper squeeze tight pants, okay? And so because of this, you honestly can't help but to notice their shape. And so the first time that I noticed this was actually my flight on the way here. So everybody on the plane was dressed like, regular dress for the plane clothes, except for this one woman. This one woman, she had long straight black hair. She had on the makeup tight, the lipstick tight, and she had on a halter top where it kind of went around like this, and then her back was out and her stomach was showing, and she had on these super tight jeans. And I was just like, oh my goodness. But then when we got off the plane and I saw her from the back, I noticed her behind, her exceptional behind. And it just looked too much. It looked like too much. It looked too odd. But I was like, okay, maybe she just is one of those women who are exceptionally endowed, But then I got here, and then I noticed, all of the women dressed in super tight jeans, and I just noticed that something just ain't right, because some of the booties it was just too much, and you can tell that it was manufactured. This is what I'm trying to say, people. I'm trying to say it in a very delicate way. Fast forward to a walking tour that I was on, and the tour guide actually mentioned it. He was like, yeah, you'll notice, we're very laid back here, and it's a very interesting culture, and I'm sure you noticed that some of the men, we sit around in cafes, and we look at the women walking by, and we try to say which one is real or which one is fake. So the tour guide actually told us that Colombia is the plastic surgery capital I don't know if he said, I guess he said of the world. Did he say of the world or South America? I'm not sure. But anyway, women here really like to be voluptuous, and so they go to extreme efforts to make sure that they look voluptuous. But yeah, the fake bottoms, they just stand out. They stand out, and it's not like just, wow, she has a big butt. It stands out in a way that it's just uniquely shaped, and actually a lot of them look alike, almost like they picked it out of a catalog or something. But anyway, it's not, no judgment, honey, no judgment. Everybody is doing the plastic surgery thing. I'm not particularly a fan or into it, but if that's you, do you. Another quick thing, one of my first impressions is, this is a big city, it's a vibrant city, it's a lot of things going on, and you see a lot of street performers. I mean, not like off to the side doing their own thing, street performers, I mean literally in the street performing. Just the other day, another expat and I were walking to get lunch together, and in the middle of this busy street, this guy is juggling. He's juggling, and just, like literally in traffic. And then I was taking a cab ride somewhere, and I saw a guy like walking a tight wire, and it was connected like from one street pole to another, from one stoplight pole to another. And I kept looking to see, like, is that street blocked off? Like, is there something, is there some festival? No, it was him set up, and but I couldn't figure out if cars were coming through or not. I didn't know what was going on. That was the first time I saw it, and then yesterday was the second time. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's just what they do here. But yeah, my first impressions have been all good so far. No complaints. Because I'm going to be here for a while, I haven't really been acting like a tourist. So I've done one walking tour, which was amazing. It's called Real City Tours. So if you're ever in Medellin, definitely check them out. It's tip based, so it's a free walking tour, but pay the people. If you liked it, pay the people. Either what you can afford or what you think they deserve in terms of how well they did. So I've done that. I've been looking for a place to stay, and here it's pretty common that you have a roommate, especially among expats, because we don't, a lot of times people are here for like a short period of time, 3 months to 6 months, something like that, and it costs a lot of money. The deposit money is really expensive to get an apartment. Apartments can be pricey or they can be cheap depending on what you're looking for, but furnishing your apartment will cost a lot, and it's also a huge investment if you don't plan on being here for a long time. And furnished apartments cost even more. So usually, to cut down all of those costs, people just end up having roommates. So it can be anywhere from 2 to 4 people living with you at a time. And so I was trying to look for my own place, but economically, budget-wise, it just made more sense for me to stay with people. So I did find a place, and I'll be living with 2 other people. So anyway, that's what I've been spending most of my time doing when I first got here, and been networking. I've been out to a networking event, really cool networking event. I was in a penthouse, in a penthouse of an expat, and they had the most amazing view of Medellin. And what else have I done? I've been to a language exchange and took a free salsa class. That was kind of cool. But mainly I've just been walking the neighborhoods and trying to get some good eats. Seriously, people, I try not to compare countries. We're human. Naturally, we're going to compare what we know to what's new and to try to, make some sense out of it. But I'm not going to go there and comparing countries. Each country, I look at places and countries and things like that like people. Each person has its own personality, its own background, its own upbringing, its own unique features. And countries, cities, places are like that too. So I'm not going to compare in the sense of like who's better, who's not. But I think the answer is pretty obvious. I'm just saying. Being in Colombia is like being back to life. It's awesome, and I'm glad I'm here. So that's all I'll say. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more fun and amazing videos from Medellin, Colombia, and South America. Deuces.